If someone were to ask you how many hours a day you spend on social media, would you be ashamed of your answer or even know it? The majority of you have an account on multiple social media platforms, and more than likely you spend any free time you have switching back and forth between apps. Spending too much time on social media can have a negative impact on your life. To highlight this, first I will discuss how social media can affect your perception of reality. Secondly, I will talk about how social media can be used to manipulate you. And lastly, I will offer ways in which to use that time you normally would spend on social media to instead improve your quality of life. So firstly, social media can affect your perception of reality. In the article, The Link Between Social Media and Body Image, published by King University, an unnamed author that cites several sources touches on the effects of social media on body image. In the article, it mentions that it can have a positive effect on some users. However, in a bombshell study conducted on 1,000 men and women, it concluded that 37% of the men and 50% of the women negatively compare themselves to others online. I think most of us have come across images of others such as Instagram models or TikTok hunks that have made us feel self-conscious from time to time. In the article, Perfection on Social Media Does Not Make You Perfect, on Rice Psychology Group's website, Dr. Wendy Rice aptly shares the fact that on social media, everyone feels pressured to share the perfect post or selfie to get likes and attention in order to gain societal approval. This is not healthy or beneficial in any way to anyone. We see everyone seemingly living their best lives on social media through the lens of the internet. We don't normally get to see the ugly side of things. And if we do, it's usually covered in syrupy sweet words about how the challenging characteristics or rough patches are actually blessings in disguise. The article Effects of Social Media on Communication Skills, published by the Knowledge Review, written by Professor Chetan Bhamar, goes into depth about how social media is seriously impairing communication skills amongst the younger generations. Talking through messages is becoming the preferred method of communication these days, and people are more likely to be on their phones at social gatherings instead of speaking to each other face to face. The way we communicate through messages online is way different than we do in person and has seriously stunted social growth. Secondly, there are several manipulation tactics used against you on social media. In the journal The Responsibility of Social Media in Times of Societal and Political Manipulation, published on Science Direct and written by Professor Ulrich Reisig, is a treasure trove of information regarding how social media is used to manipulate you. He states all platforms of social media are used commercially. Facebook, for example, will take your given information, such as your age, gender, and race, and even your search history, and sell it to companies who will then take that information and post advertisements on your timeline specifically catered for you. This is called data mining and behavioral advertising, and it is really creepy. In the article, The Dangerous Art of Social Media and Messaging Manipulation, published on Forbes and written by Perry Carpenter, a Forbes Council's member, he highlights how in this year, the weaponization of memes, the use of false propagation, and doctored videos for political gain has been astronomical. And to show this, here are some memes, because who doesn't like those? This is an anti-Biden meme, and it says, "I'm Joe Biden, and I forgot this message." This one is an anti-Trump meme that says, excuse me, I'm trying to lie here." So bad. Oh my god. Okay, anyway. Users are trying to navigate a pandemic while also being bombarded by politically charged propaganda, because social media provides the most effective way to reach people with political agendas than any other form of communication. We've all seen clickbait articles shared by loved ones, typically of the older generation, that strikes fear into the heart from just reading the title. However, if one actually reads the article, they find out that the supposed threat to humanity is actually no threat at all. However, sometimes these articles do contain false information, and if one doesn't know how to fact check them, it can have a negative impact on their mental health, and it's also a form of manipulation to promote web page traffic. Lastly, I want to offer options of what you can do with your time that you normally spend on social media. Hobbies. There are so many to choose from. Reading, writing, drawing, learning how to play an instrument are all basic and viable options to improve cognitive thinking. However, you should probably pick something that you're really interested in and something that will really boost those feel-good endorphins, like roller skating, horseback riding lessons, gymnastic lessons. You can learn the language of a country you want to travel to someday. You can go dancing, you can take improv and acting classes. You can also try a new sport like disc golfing or badminton. You can also learn new skills that you can profit off of, like woodworking or photography. Learn how to film and edit videos. You can also refurbish secondhand furniture and clothing. My sister's trying to get me into crocheting, and as you can see, it's going really well. Another thing that you can do that is really beneficial is spend time with loved ones. So hang out with your parents or your grandparents or friends or just anyone you have a good relationship with. Face-to-face meaningful conversations are so important, and it's something that we take for granted in the superficial world that we live in. We all need and deserve to feel loved and appreciated. Another thing you can do is work on yourself as a person. Learn who you are. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Do you like who you've become? After you figure out who you are and you learn to love that person, you can work on improving yourself by listening to TED Talks or writing brain dumps in journals or learning how to meditate. Declutter your life and your surroundings and find what really matters to you instead of basing everything on the values of social media. In conclusion, spending too much time on social media can have a negative impact on your life. And to highlight this, I discussed how social media can affect your perception of reality. Secondly, I went over how social media can be used to manipulate you. And lastly, I offered ways in which to use that time that you normally spend on social media to instead improve your quality of life. Now, I don't think social media is the root of all evil, and I don't expect you to go delete all of your accounts and throw away your smartphone. However, to quote Oscar Wilde, to live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, and that is all. Thank you.